Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister and the President are here. Please be seated. Questions and answers, English only. I repeat, English only. Thank you.
Mr. President.
במילה שתחזור. ההודעה היא של אני מציע שאומר על כללי האירוע שאדוני פותח ואחר כך
רק בזה אני אתכם שם צריך להיות הראשון.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our communication center. The press conference will be opened by the Prime Minister of Israel, and after the President of Egypt will make his remarks, you are allowed to ask your questions. As agreed, all questions will be coming in English. I suggest that all those who want to ask questions will come as near as possible to the two microphones in the middle of the hall. Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister.
With the permission of the President, our noble guest, I'll read to you, ladies and gentlemen, an agreed communiqué issued at the conclusion of the visit to our country of President Sadat. And this is the agreed communiqué. In response to the sincere and courageous move by President Sadat, and believing in the need to continue the dialogue along the lines proposed by both sides during their exchanges and the presentation of the positions in the historic meeting in Jerusalem, and in order to enhance the prospect of a fruitful consummation of this significant visit, the government of Israel, expressing the will of the people of Israel, proposes that this hopeful step be further pursued through dialogue between the two countries concerned, thereby paving the way towards successful negotiations leading to the signing of peace treaties in Geneva with all the neighboring Arab states. Thank you for your attention, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
May I ask for your questions? Mr. Simmons.
Mr. Prime Minister, have you received an invitation to go to Cairo, and if so, when will you go?
Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes.
Have you received an invitation to go to Cairo, and if so, when will you go?
The gentleman started his question with saying, Mr. President, I'm only a Prime Minister, I'm not President.
Shall I try again?
Yeah, all right. No, I find myself well now. We discussed this issue with complete candor. I think perhaps President Sadat would like to reciprocate. I would like to see Cairo, but I do understand the reasons why at this stage such an invitation was not issued. I repeat, I do understand the reasons why at this stage such an invitation was not issued. I would like to say, I do hope to visit Cairo, Mr. President.
I have a question both for the Prime Minister and for the President of Egypt. In addition to agreeing in principle that the dialogue between the two countries will continue, did the two of you, during the course of President Sadat's visit, work out specific practical details for the continuation of this dialogue even before the Geneva Peace Conference?
Well, for sure, we have made a big survey for all the problems that we are facing. We gave great importance to the convening of the Geneva Conference. But not more than this. The time was so short.
Mr. Kittal, please.
Excuse me, I also like Prime Minister Begin, please, to respond to that.
One second.
I didn't get it.
Mr. Mazzels.
Yes, sir. But
One question at a time.
I didn't get an answer, sir.
Yes,
I'm speaking about how do you continue a dialogue without an Israeli ambassador in Cairo and an Egyptian ambassador in Jerusalem, or how will you do it practically? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Well, the establishment of diplomatic relations usually goes together with the signing of peace treaties. In fact, sometimes establishment of diplomatic relations does precede the signing of a peace treaty, as the case is between the Soviet Union and Japan, when they signed in October 1956 in Moscow the peace declaration, which is no peace treaty, and yet it includes establishment of diplomatic relations. But in our case, I suppose it will be logical to have diplomatic relations established as an integral part of the peace treaty, which in God's good time we hope to sign.
Mr. Kittal, 1 second, please.
Mr. President, why aren't you inviting the Prime Minister of Israel to visit Cairo on this stage? Now,
Well, after I was invited here by the Prime Minister, and after I addressed the Knesset and the Israeli people through the Knesset, the Prime Minister has got the full right to come and address our parliament there in Cairo. But for certain reasons that we discussed together, we have found that we postpone this issue for the future.
Mr. Kittal, you heard from the President that I have a right, and we postpone only the exercise of the right.
Sir, could you identify by name and organization?
Christopher Wren of the New York Times, Cairo correspondent. Mr. Prime Minister, in view of the political and physical risks that the President of Egypt took by coming to Israel, do you feel that you have gone far enough in giving him something that he can take back home?
I suppose you said President, and you want me to answer.
I said, Mr. Prime Minister, I was speaking
Excuse me, but I heard President.
I said, Mr. Prime Minister.
Excuse me, my fault. We appreciate very much the courage of the President, of his decision to come from Cairo to Jerusalem. We did our best to make his stay enjoyable. I think he enjoyed this stay, and we had a frank discussion, both in public, from the platform of the Knesset, of our parliament, and in private. It's not a matter of kind of compensation. What we wanted to achieve during this visit is to make sure that we started a serious, direct dialogue about the ways to establish peace in the Middle East, not only between Egypt and Israel, but also between Israel and all the other neighboring countries. I think we can say that we made progress on this issue, and the key word is continuation. We agreed that we are going to continue our dialogue, and ultimately out of it will come peace.
Avery?
Mr. President, my name is A.B. Nathan. I'm from the Voice of Peace, the peace ship that sailed into the canal thanks to your permission early this year. My question to you, sir, is how did you get, I have been several times to Egypt by air and sea, how did you get the idea, and who were the leaders around the world that encouraged you to make this bold initiative for peace to help to bring our people together? And when can I hope to come with an Israeli football team to Cairo to play with the Cairo 11?
Well, for the first part of the question about this initiative and the time, and if I have already discussed it with any other leader, well, my answer is this. It started before I started my last trip to Romania, Iran, and Saudi Arabia. I didn't discuss it with anyone except my foreign minister and for sure our Security Council in Egypt. The whole situation needed action. The peace process needed momentum again, and these are the motives behind this initiative.
Sir, identify.
Radio Middle East Affairs commentator. A common key question to Mr. President Sadat, to Mr. Prime Minister Begin. After so many cordial conversations, did you really reach an agreement on the meaning of the word security concerning Israel and the neighbor countries? The second question is directed to Mr. President Sadat. The Arab hospitality is very well known all over the world. Did you feel a little bit embarrassed by the fact that you had to postpone the invitation of Mr. Begin to Cairo? Thank you.
I am not embarrassed.
The first question about
security.
Security.
You reached an agreement on the meaning of security.
Well, with the Premier and with the Knesset today, the various parties, we agree upon the principle, upon security. We agree, but the meaning of security, we differ on it. I think through Geneva we can reach an agreement, and let us hope that what I have said already today in the Knesset, let us hope that the two slogans that I want everyone to say is, let us have no war after October, and let us agree upon security. I think those are the main issues. For the second question, and the
Mr. President.
I beg your pardon?
Hospitality, Mr. President.
Hospitality, yes. A very sly either I am an Arab and hospitable or not. No. As I said before, we have discussed this, Premier Begin and me, and we agreed together to postpone it for the time being.
I would like to add one remark. I will say to the questioner and to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, that during the visit of President Sadat to our country and to Jerusalem, a momentous agreement was achieved already. Namely, no more war, no more bloodshed, no more attacks, and collaboration in order to avoid any event which may lead to such tragic developments. When I addressed directly the Egyptian people, I said, let us give a silent oath one to another. No more war, no more bloodshed, no more threats. May I say that that mutual pledge was given in Jerusalem. And we are very grateful to President Sadat that he said so from the platform of the Knesset, personally to me, and today also to my colleagues in Parliament, both the supporters and the opponents of the government of the day. It is a great moral achievement for our nations, for the Middle East, indeed for the whole world.
Mr. Hamdi Fouad from El Aram.
Prime Minister, according to your communique, your joint communique,
we can't hear you.
According to the joint communique, it is understood that the dialogue is going to be resumed. How it is going to be resumed, where, and if there will be any place for the Palestinians to participate in this dialogue now or later on in the Geneva Conference.
In the Geneva Conference, a proper representation of Palestinian Arabs will take place. We agree on it. As far as the places in which the dialogue will continue, believe me, President Sadat and I know some geography.
No. Not Mr. Musa. Not Mr. Musa.
Mr. Keith Graves, BBC.
Mr. President, as you prepare to leave Israel, do you have a message for the people of Israel with whom you are, after all, still at war?
If I may say anything through you to the peoples of Israel, I must say this, that I'm really deeply grateful for the very warm welcome and the marvelous sentiments that they have shown to me.
Mr. Segev.
Mr. President, I'm Shmuel Segev from Ma'ariv. The Israeli government has allowed many Egyptian journalists to come and cover your visit. Will you now be prepared to open the doors of Egypt for Israeli journalists?
When Mr. Begin visits us, for sure you will be coming.
Not before?
Sir?
Mr. Segev, להתראות בקהיר.
Yes, Claude Smadja, Swiss TV. I have two questions for Mr. Begin and Mr. Sadat. First, after all your talks, are you now both convinced of the sincerity of the desire for peace of each of you? Second question, did you fix a date for the reconvening of the Geneva conference?
Well, for the first question, yes. For the second question, we shall be working in the very near future for the reconvening of Geneva Conference.
For the first question, yes. and we shall together work for the reconvening of the Geneva Conference.
One second. Sir, we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Talk to the mic, please.
Growald, United Press International. Mr. President, what psychological and what substantive progress have you made in Israel on your visit, sir?
What? Please?
What psychological and what substantive progress have you made in Israel?
Well, maybe you have heard me saying before that one of the main motives behind this visit to Israel was that to give the peace process new momentum and to get rid of the psychological barrier that in my idea was more than 70% of the whole conflict, and the other 30% is the substance. For the substance, as I told you, we have made a very big survey, but the time is so short to have, progress in this way.
Sir?
The time was so short that I think that before I go to Cairo, I will have to invite for a second time President Sadat to Jerusalem.
Yes, sir.
Murad al-Imari from the Israeli Broadcasting Arabic section. I have two questions to the President of the Egypt Arab Republic. The first, after your meeting recently with the delegation of the Armed Services Committee of the United States House of Representatives, you were quoted as saying, quote, "The Soviet Union will for sure make difficulties for me, and I am making my calculations so that this attitude should not create any obstacles at Geneva," end quote. Do you think, Mr. President, that in the circumstances the Soviet Union is blocking the road towards Geneva?
Well, you must have heard of the communique that was issued by the Soviet Union and the United States for the convening of Geneva Conference. What I have told the committee you mentioned is this, that my relations with the Soviets are strained, and it appears that whatever I do doesn't go to their liking at all. For instance, the visit here also and their comments doesn't go to their liking at all. I fear that the same attitude could be adopted in Geneva, and they are one of the co-sponsors. But in the same answer I said that whenever we reach the parties concerned, whenever the parties concerned reach an agreement, and no one, either it is a big power or a small power, can prevent us from fulfilling this as much as we have agreed upon it, the main parties concerned.
October, Egypt agreed to a joint venture with the blacklisted U.S. Ford Motor Company. Mr. Mohammed Mahgoub, head of the Arab boycott of Israel, attacked the government of Egypt. Don't you think, Mr. President, that the time has come to put an end to the boycott committee?
Well, I have an idea on this. I consider all these are side issues. let us try and solve the main issue, then all these side issues automatically will be solved.
Mr. Landau.
David Landau, the Jerusalem Post. Mr. Sadat, I thought it was significant that you went out of your way this morning to congratulate Mr. Perez on his speech. You called it constructive. Could you tell us what precisely in Mr. Perez's speech you found constructive?
Well, I said that, and I said also that in spite of the fact that we differ on several issues. Don't forget that. I said, in spite of the fact that we differ on several issues, but still his speech was constructive.
Mr. Siegelman. Victor.
My name is Victor Siegelman. I'm representing the Paris Nouvel Observateur. I'm sorry I have a very bad voice. You repeated several times this morning in the Knesset that whatever happens again between Egypt and Israel, the solution will be sought for not through war. My question is, does this repeated statement annul, does it destroy, finish, annul your previous statements in Egypt?
Does it?
Does it finish, cancel? Does it cancel?
Cancel.
Your previous statements, many times repeated, which were that if you cannot get back the occupied territories through diplomatic means, you will get them back through force of war.
For sure, I must tell you quite frankly that I'm issuing this after I made my visit here, and in the same time when we are preparing for Geneva. Well, after we had this new spirit and this new momentum, let us agree that whatever happens between us, we should solve it together through talks rather than going to war. Because as I told you, really I was very deeply touched when I saw the children, the Israeli children hailing me here. The Israeli woman, really, I was very deeply touched. And the same thing happens in Egypt also. Maybe you know that my people now are 100% behind me. They don't want any war. They want that we settle our differences on the table. But mark this. I said also in the Knesset, and I differed with Premier Begin about it. He considered this as a condition. I said that the issue of the withdrawal from the occupied territories should not be even put on the table, except for the details of it, not as a principle. We differ on this, but when I made my statement, this is behind it. This is will be automatically in Geneva negotiated and decided.
Sir?
Abdulwahab Zahde from the Arabic section in the TV, the Israeli TV. Mr. President, have you today discussed with the West Bank personalities the political future of the West Bank, and do you think they should participate in Geneva? And the second question, when are you going to visit King Khalid?
Well, for the first question, I received them. They were very kind, really. to come and apologize for those who are abusing me outside, in the outside world from their patriots. And this is only, and believe me really, I was very happy and elated when I prayed yesterday in Al-Aqsa, and I met with our Arab citizen. I was very happy and elated really. Regarding their representation, I shouldn't say anything in this, because the Palestinians should decide among themselves for this.
About another question, Mr. President.
About the visit of Saudi Arabia. Whenever there is any issue that needs anything, we have very close contacts together, and whenever there is any need to discuss anything, I may go at any time, or King Khalid may come to Cairo at any time. We don't have protocols and so between us.
Morris?
A question to President Sadat.
Can you identify yourself, please?
Morris Carr, Israel Features. Mr. President, now that you are more fully acquainted with the facts of the Nazi Holocaust, do you have a better insight into Israel's determination to maintain appropriate security positions against the extremist elements that are openly committed to the destruction of the Jewish state?
I can't get you. Please.
Repeat the question. Mr. President, now that you are more fully acquainted with the facts of the Nazi Holocaust, do you have a better insight into Israel's determination to maintain appropriate security positions against the extremist elements that are openly committed to the destruction of the Jewish state?
Well, as you must have heard me now saying that security is one of the two main issues or two main slogans that should be raised now. And I quite agree, I quite understand the point of view of the security for the Israelis, but on the other hand, it shouldn't be through any compromise on land, because it will mean expansion. And in my idea, we shall discuss this thoroughly after that, few kilometers here or few kilometers there will not provide security. The intention that provides security.
Peter Snow.
President Sadat, Peter Snow, British Independent Television News. You have faced very strong attacks from much of the rest of the Arab world for your visit here. You've even been faced with the threat of assassination for what you've done. What do you say to these people?
Well, I shall not be saying anything to those people. I think I shall be telling my people in Egypt what has happened here. I shall be giving a speech before the parliament after my arrival, a few days after that. I need not answer all those who have attacked. Well, and let me remind you that after the second disengagement agreement, and for one continual year, I was much more vehemently attacked rather than the attacks now.
Sir, on the right side.
Yes, I have a question for both Prime Minister Begin and for President Sadat. And the premise is to be the same for both questions. Since there are 23 other Arab countries with millions and millions of miles of land and plenty of money. And since Israel's territory is so small in comparison, and since, as Mr. Sadat, President Sadat just said, some of this land was acquired by, as he termed it, expansion, but which was actually acquired by defensive war after it was started. The question to Premier Begin is, does he believe any of this land should be given up in view of the biblical injunction not to surrender 1 inch of land acquired with the help of God? And the question to President Sadat is, wouldn't a larger demilitarized Sinai, with joint development of the oil resources or other resources in the area, and with economic development and cooperation to help his battered economy, wouldn't this and tourism be better for Egypt and for Israel than giving up any of the land? Or is vanity to win territory more important?
2 words only for my answer. Our land is sacred.
My friend, if you asked me a question about security, I will explain.
No, the question was about territory, sir, not security.
Would you please allow me to reply?
Okay.
Thank you for your permission. I will explain now what is security to us. The lives of every man, woman and child. This means to us national security. We have an experience, a very long experience. In 1 generation we lost 1/3 of our people, and in this country 11 times we had to defend ourselves against a repeated attempt to destroy us. With such an experience, we will care for our people, for our women and children, as I said yesterday in Parliament. And I think that on this we have almost a complete national consensus, with the exception of one party, the Communist Party, which is completely subservient to Moscow. This is the consensus by the overwhelming majority of our Parliament, whether in coalition or in opposition. And this is going to be our attitude during our negotiations. Of course, I can respect a statement made just now by President Sadat. Our land is sacred. And because I respect that statement, may I say, our land is sacred.
Thank you very much. But the only question is really whose land it is.
Excuse me. 1 second. 1 second, please.
With my language here.
One second.
Please.
1 second, please. Sir. Gentlemen of the press, we have got... Gentlemen of the press, can you wait 1 minute, please? We've got time for very few more questions. One, I would like the journalists to limit themselves to 1 question only. 1 second, please. And I request you, sir, and I proceed. Sir.
Yediot Achronot, Israel. A question to Prime Minister. Mr. Prime Minister, do you note a certain lack of symmetry in the fact that President Sadat crossing a political canal and exposing himself to vis-à-vis his own people, while you stayed within the safety, relative safety of Israeli official concept. In other words, while Mr. President Sadat came to Jerusalem and addressed himself to us, you came to Jerusalem and you addressed yourself to us. Is it symmetry?
Well, as I told you, my friend, I am ready to go any day to Cairo. And then if to accept your statement, I will take that risk. So if taking risks is the problem, I suppose both of us are prepared to take risks.
Thank you.
Charles Wise, please. Excuse me.
Charles Weiss, Voice of America, Jerusalem. Yesterday in his speech, President Sadat spoke about the Palestinian problem. This is directed to the Prime Minister. Spoke about the Palestinian problem being the crux of the Mideast conflict, that Israel would have nothing to fear if a new state were established, that no peace can be established without solving the Palestinian problem. I would like to ask Mr. Prime Minister why you did not relate by so much as a word to what Mr. Sadat had to say.
I did, but I spoke in Hebrew, and I must correct you, as I do always. Palestine is the name of a country, this country. And in this country there are two nationalities. Therefore there are Palestinian Jews and Palestinian Arabs. When you say Palestinians, you don't explain the problem at stake. We do recognize the Arab nationality in our country, and therefore always say, please, the question of Palestinian Arabs. And when I spoke in Hebrew, I said, Abaya shel Arviei Eretz Israel, because in Hebrew the name of this country is Eretz Israel, since the book of Shmuel. And as President Sadat knows perfectly well the Bible, no less than the Quran, he knows the book Shmuel as well, where it is written for the first time, V'charash lo yimatzei b'chol Eretz Israel, and no locksmith will be found throughout Eretz Israel. The translation of Eretz Israel is Palestine. I spoke about the Arabs of Eretz Israel, or in other words, about Palestinian Arabs. It is an issue, and we have proposals to solve this issue.
1 second, please. Madam?
One second. Mr. President, as a Jew from Australia,
I'm sorry.
may I give the...
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sir. Madam, please. Madam. I repeat, give the microphone to the madam, please.
Be a gentleman.
I think...
Mr. Batir.
No, I'm sorry. You'll give the... I want you, please, sir, be a gentleman and to give the microphone to the lady, please. To the lady now. Thank you.
Mr. President, do you have any plans to meet with the President Assad and maybe persuade him to join your Mubadara?
From time to time, you know, we meet in the Arab world and among our colleagues in the Arab world. I was asked in Damascus, when I visited Damascus before I came here, that did President Assad try to put pressure on me not to complete this visit? I told them, no one put pressure on the other. This is our way.
Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we've got time for 2 more questions. You, sir, 1 second. You'll get it. All right. 1 second. You'll get it.
Nothing, Gregor.
All right, please.
سيادة الرئيس الحمد لله على السلامة. السؤال بسيط. ألف حمد لله على السلامة هنا وفي مصر. I speak with my language, please. سيادتك قبل ما تكون زعيم مؤمن كنت صحفي حر جدا. النهارده في ناس كتير يقول لك الصحافة بتزودها حبتين. إذا كان قعدنا 10 سنين وأكثر وشعبنا عظيم جدا، فهل يا ترى إمتى نتأخر؟ هنا في جسور يا ريس مفتوحة، لازم يشوفوا شعبنا الطيب النبيل العريق يقعدوا معانا، يبقى في هنا جسور يا ريس مفتوحة ولو يعني زيارات محددة، وبعدين يرجعوا يتكلموا عننا، يكون في مبادرة للتعايش يا ريس عشان يفهمونا أكثر وأحسن وإحنا في طريقنا للسلام. وربنا يديك الصحة يا ريس. معلش.
شكرا. كل ده احنا اتكلمنا فيه، والشيء الاساسي النهارده ان احنا نروح جنيف الاول، وبعدين كل ده بيجي اوتوماتيك طبيعي يعني.
Sir, you now. Yes.
Mr. President, I come from Australia, which last week was a much shorter distance than your visit, I think, from Cairo. May I ask you this? Since you've been here in the last 24 hours, do you feel that we are closer, you are closer to reconciling the just rights and needs of the Israeli people and the just rights and needs of the Palestinians?
I'm sure of the fact that the process that we started through my visit here will enable us to solve all the problems. And I said, for example, we consider that here is an urgent problem, that is namely security. I also consider that a Palestinian state is very important in spite of our difference upon this issue, but still we can in Geneva decide all these. If you ask me, am I optimistic or pessimistic, I may tell you I'm optimistic.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the last question, and now I give the floor to the Prime Minister.
Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, it will take another 2 hours and President Sadat will be on his way to his country, to Cairo. May I now sum up this momentous visit. It is indeed a momentous visit. We are formally at state of war, our two countries. As far as I remember, I do not know of a precedent that a leader of a country which finds itself at state of war with another country paid such a visit to that country, was received with so much warmth, sincerity. The reaction was positive in the government, in parliament, but first and foremost amongst our people. We drove, President Sadat and I, several times together. We have seen our people on the streets, in the thousands, men, women, and little children. And all of them greeting the President, taking him to their hearts. Our children waved both flags, the Egyptian flag and the Israeli flag. I wish, with your permission, Mr. President, to express my sincere hope that the day is not too far when Egyptian children will wave the Israeli flag and the Egyptian flag. This visit is a real success for both countries and for the cause of peace. And as we both, the President and I, do believe in divine providence, we say, before the departure of the President and his party, we pray to the Almighty that He gives all of us the wisdom to continue in our efforts to bring peace to our nations, real peace, and so make sure that this region, with all the nations dwelling here, achieve peace, advance, and live in liberty, in justice, and in happiness. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I seize this opportunity really to thank Premier Begin, to thank the Israeli people, and President Yassir for the very warm welcome that was accorded to me here. We are in a crucial moment. Let us hope, all of us, that we can keep the momentum in Geneva, and may God guide the steps of Premier Begin and the Knesset, because there is a great need for hard and drastic decisions. I have already took my share in my decision to come here, and I shall be really looking forward for those decisions from Premier Begin and the Knesset. All the best wishes for my friend Premier Begin and his family, and all my deep gratitude to the Israeli people whose welcome I shall never forget. Thank you.